What's up, Pistahan? Welcome, everybody. I know we're going virtual, and this is awesome, actually, because we get to connect with all sorts of great people during our virtual Pistahan celebration. Of course, Franco Finn here, your Warriors hype man. I've supported Pistahan for many, many years. I've emceed the stages live in person at Yerba Buena in San Francisco. But you know what? We're doing virtual, and this is great because we're going to have so many cool things and cool people to talk to. And I'm inspired by this young guy right here that we're looking at right now. And it's amazing for him to join us here for Pistahan. Give it up for Bobby Rubio. Now, Bobby, thank you so much for joining us. You are a director and writer, of course, for Pixar's animated short film, Float, which I absolutely love. Even that short moment, like, it's so impactful and so amazing. We're going to get into that and the creation of it. And so, you know, this is Pixar's first ever animated film to feature Filipino characters. So, Bobby, this is huge for us. I love the hat. You got Warriors representing the Filipino flag. Yeah. Welcome, Bobby Rubio, to this conversation. So tell us where, I mean, my goodness, this is pretty amazing. I mean, how did it start off? And we'll get into all the details.
Yeah, let me say, I am super honored to be here. I mean, to be part of Pistahan. It's an iconic Filipino Bay Area thing, and I am so honored to be here with you, Franco, and like, yeah, I'm wearing my Warriors gear. I see you're wearing Pixar, so we're helping.
I got my Pixar. Saw that, and then I got my hat here. Oh, look at that.
Oh, see, yeah. So I am honored to be here, and thank you, Franco, for interviewing me. Okay, but it is great to represent our culture and to have the first Filipinos animated CGI characters at Pixar up there for everyone to see. I know for me, it's been amazing because I know what it feels like. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid and I saw The Last Dragon with Ernie Reyes Jr.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time, and I was, oh my God, that kid looks like me. He has the same haircut, bowl cut I had.
Yes, oh yes.
He loves karate, kung fu. I'm sorry, and like, it just meant the world to me. And
you identified with him because this is that. I mean, that's all we had. You know, you're right.
That's all we had.
And it sparked a lot. You're just like, whoa! When you see that on TV. Yeah. And someone that looks like you, and you know he's Filipino, you're just like, man, okay, possibilities, right?
Yeah. There's the possibilities. There's the empowerment factor. There's the I feel validated. I feel like our culture is validated. I feel like we belong here. And I mean, the same as with you, Franco. When I see you at the Warriors games, I'm all like, yes, man. Are you kidding me? There's a Filipino up in here. That's it just hypes me. It makes me excited. It fills my heart with pride. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm like, so I hope that there's a generation of kids watching Float, and I hope that they get the same feeling that I got. Like, yes, I belong. I can do this. I am part of this world, and our culture is beautiful and wonderful and needs to be shared.
Yes, and this is great. We're going to get into Float, and it was amazing. You know, my wife and I watched it, and I was just like, I'm so proud. Like you said, just to have the first ever Filipino characters, and you're a part of this. I mean, it makes me so proud. I mean, I am the first Filipino and only one in the NBA as a hype man for the last 20 years. So, man, any strides that we can do in sports, animation, CGI, you name it, you know, like the Ernie Reyes Jr.'s who paved the way, man, that's a lot to celebrate. And I really appreciate you joining this conversation. But let's talk about you for a second before we get into Float, because you have some accolades. You've been involved, you know, since 2012 at Pixar. See, that's why I had to sport my Pixar jacket. Pixar family is amazing. I got a lot of friends that work there, and they're Pixnoys too. The Pixnoys. We're going to talk about the Pixnoys represent. But you've been involved with incredible films. I mean, look at your resume. Inside Out. You got Incredibles 2, Brave, and now your first directorial debut with Float, right? With this Filipino, you know, look and feel. I just love it having the characters like that. and it's available on Disney Plus. So make sure, people, you got to watch Float. Let's support Bobby in this whole, amazing, this feature that you've created and directed and been a part of. But these, Float is about, also a personal story too, right? So talk about this connection. It's inspired by your own son, is that right? And also, talk about that and being a father, growing up here and being Filipino, and bring that all together and how Float came about.
Okay. Well, the story is based off of my relationship with my son, Alex, who is on the autism spectrum. And I had a difficult time with it because when he first was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do, and if I'm being honest, the Filipino community, it's a taboo a little bit, the autism is. And like, I wanted to break that. I wanted people to know that it's okay. There are autistic people out there, my child, one of them, and we should love them and accept them for who they are. But it all started because I couldn't handle the situation because it's all very new to me.
That's hard as a parent to deal with. Like, what do I do? This is my child, right? Okay.
Yeah. So it started with me. My wife saw I was having a difficult time with it, so I started a comic book and I did a cover, and it was called Alex, named after my son, and it featured a boy that floated, and in the image of the cover was it was actually a white man and a white kid floating, and the tagline was a journey of a father and a special child. And I was gonna do this, and this was like about 10 years ago, and I couldn't finish it because I was so into all the emotions. And then, like, let's fast forward 10 years later, I said, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna tell the story. I'm gonna do storyboards. I did storyboards of this short story, and it did feature white characters. And I showed it to Pixar. They felt it was perfect for the Spark program. But then they also made a suggestion, why are the characters white? And I was like, I don't know, I guess because that's what I think people want to see. And I give Pixar credit. They were like, you should make the characters Filipino.
That was the green light. You said, really?
You know what? I am so grateful for Pixar because they could have easily said, just run with what you had,
Right.
But
there was thought. There was like, no, why don't you make it diverse, right?
Yes.
And what a beautiful time to do that when, we're going through a lot in this country. We're going through a whole identity here going on, but man, we're proud Pinoy in there, and you're putting it out in the mainstream, man. That is what's amazing, because other people, not just Filipinos and Pinoys all across the world, but it's going to be people seeing that, and they see these characters that are not your traditional characters. And I noticed also in the cast too, Bobby, that there's some diversity too. There's like other couples and other things like that. So it was a melting pot already.
I wanted it to feel like it's basically based off of Oakland, where I live.
I see.
And actually the park is based off of Jordan Park in Oakland. So yeah, like you said, it is a very diverse neighborhood. You had an interracial couple in the beginning. You have a lot of people of different colors within the park, and I wanted that. And I think it came across, as you pointed out, and it definitely feels like Oakland or California, or at least
it did.
It felt like the real world to me. So.
Yeah. And you know what, let's dive into that's great. The diversity is great, and it's just so proud, like I said, to see Filipinos like put into that character form and just out there. It's amazing. But talk about that relationship with your son. You said he was, thank you for being upfront and candid, what this inspiration was about. Your son was, it was diagnosed with autism. Now, in the beginning, so like the father, you see the change, right? And so I'm assuming that these are some personal things that you wanted to convey there. And then, from the beginning and then towards the end where, without giving it away, but there is a moral to the story and stuff. But like there was, he puts rocks in the backpack, right? Yes. And that kind of represents probably, the burdens and things like that. Maybe dive into that, like, you know, the
Okay.
transition about the father and how he was in the beginning, and then in the end where, you know, they finally kind of come to terms that, hey, it's okay to be different. Talk about that journey, that moment, especially from the father's perspective, putting in the rocks. That was something right there.
The beauty of this short is that floating could represent several different things. And it is about a father who has a child that's different. And I know it affected me as a father because you have these dreams of having a typical child. You're going to do the typical things with them. And then when you get the diagnosis that your child is different, it changes your perspective. I went into a darker place, just like the father did. He became depressed. I went into depression, just like the father. And the father in the short tries to make his kid typical by putting rocks in his backpack to prevent him from floating. So he looks like everybody else. And so that was his choice. What I love about it being a metaphor, I've heard it is about autism, means autism to me, but I've also heard from the Filipino community that it means assimilation, that it's about you covering your culture and like, we're gonna just Americanize you and just like, you forget everything and we're gonna keep you down.
So it's a metaphor. It is indeed a metaphor for other things too.
It can be a metaphor for other things. And people have brought that up and I was like, wow, man, I mean, it could apply to that. And I'm glad that people see that.
Yeah.
And it's about the end. Spoiler alert, so people you can fast forward this or not, but it is about the father accepting his child for who he is, what he is, no matter what, the beauty of everything he has to offer. If it's autism, accepting that. If it's if it's a gender base, or if it's a sexual preference, or if it's if it's any kind of difference, if it's your culture, accept it, love it, enjoy it, celebrate it. And that we should all celebrate our differences, because that makes our world stronger and enhances in our world. And so that's what the short is about, celebrating differences and taking.
And then also in the end, I mean, spoiler alert, fast forward if you guys don't want to, know about it, but it's like that sense of, then they were free. They were themselves. They said, okay, my son is floating. I'm coming to terms with it. He's on the swing. The dad is, and then they're just flying. It was just a sense of freedom. Like, it's okay to be different and to be like that, because it was intense too. When the people in the playground are literally stopped and watching this interaction with father and son. And you were just like, oh my gosh, like I could feel for the dad. But then when that moment came, when they discovered the swing, and then the son was floating, and it was just a beautiful moment, like in that short amount of time, but it spoke volumes. And that's amazing, the metaphors. So Bobby, congratulations. It's more than one thing. It really covers a lot of things in whatever you're feeling at that moment. All walks of life can relate to it. That's what's great about it, right?
Yeah. I've gotten messages from all walks of life, all races, all people contacted me saying how much it's affected their life, how much it's touched them, and I take that to heart. I really do. And
that's amazing.
I say thank you to all those people who contact me. And, I know we're in a tough time right now. Yeah. And I know like shorts like Float help to bring us together. And anything I could do to help us all bring together, I will do. And I am grateful for this opportunity to do so.
This is great. And let's talk about, these Pixnoys. I love that, man. There's probably a good group of you guys that are hopefully guys and gals that are close. And then, your Pixnoys working for a great company like Pixar, creating just memorable movies since day one. And I'm a big, Disney Pixar guy. My start was Radio Disney. So I interviewed literally Toy Story, the first one. I've interviewed a lot of the, Andrew Stanton and a whole bunch. And now I get to interview Bobby Rubio as part of my whole thing. I got Pixar is family to me. And so now I'm like, yes, up and coming Pinoy that's doing great things. But like I mentioned, you were involved in Inside Out, Brave, Incredibles 2. But talk about the Filipino Americans at these Pixnoys that are out there, out in Emeryville, representing, not only Filipinos, Filipino Americans, but just kind of this the perspective and the ambiance. Walk us through the campus and what's like.
Okay. Well, Pixnoy was started by Marlon Castro, and he was our security guy. And which I also wanted to say that that's what's the beauty of Pixar and Pixnoys is that it's not just artists, because you probably think, oh, it's just a bunch of artists there. No, Pixnoy is a bunch of everything. And I want to tell that to all the Filipinos out there, that you could be anything. And you could be a manager at Pixar. You could be a chef at Pixar.
Yeah.
You could be an artist at Pixar. You could be, what else?
It's a corporate. It's got any other opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
if
I want to work at Pixar, I got to be an artist. It's not that. There's other ways to get here. So yes, there's a bunch of us in different departments at Pixar, and we're called the Pixnoys. And like I said, we have security guys, we got chefs, and we have artists and managers. And so we get together every now and then, and we have like potlucks.
Potlucks. So people are bringing some food up. We love food.
Yeah. So but we also we try to also bring some sense of community. We try to do stuff outside of Pixar. We've helped out with hurricane relief in the Philippines. We try to help out local schools as well. I myself am trying to inspire people by always wearing my Pixnoy gear. I'm not wearing my Pixnoy gear right now because I'm wearing this Warriors for You, Franco.
Oh, hey, it's all good, baby.
But I figured since this is Pistahan, it's San Francisco, I wanted to represent and show love.
Yeah. Well, I got some of my good friends that were in Pixar and everything. John Rodriguez, that's my boy.
Oh yeah.
J-Rod's my boy. Actually, I saw the credits. My boy Dan Arriaga, who's no longer there, but Dan Arriaga is a really dear friend of mine too. My wife's best friends with his wife. So the Pixar family, like I said, we go deep. Awesome. 20 years.
Yeah. Danny's an awesome artist, and he's welcome at Pixnoy whenever he wants to.
Yeah, he's adopted Pinoy, man, for sure.
Yeah, right. Man. Yeah, right.
And the list goes on. There's a lot of great people. The culture's amazing at Pixar. I know I've been there one time on campus, and it's awesome. It's really, really cool there in Emeryville, which is so cool. It's like in our backyard. But talk about your next step now. Now we had, basically, you've worked on some great films and features. You got this now. This was your directorial debut. You wrote it. This was inspired by your actions, what you saw. What's next for Bobby? This is going to be hopefully a platform for many other things, I'm sure. But what can we expect from Bobby? What do you want to do? What's the goal?
The goal is definitely to write and direct more. Right now, I'm still a story artist at Pixar to pay the bills, and I actually love it. But at the same time, I am working and writing. And hopefully, I would love to write and direct at Pixar again. That is the dream. But believe me, I'm writing, I'm doing my thing. And
that's awesome.
And I'm trying to push more Filipino representation. That is my goal from here on out.
Well, if you ever need like a hype man in any scene that's like, Pinoy with white sunglasses, hyping up some crowd in some sports arena. You know who to call, all right, Bobby?
Oh, for sure, man.
I'm local, I'm Bay Area. I'm first Filipino hype man in the NBA, man. There's got to be something in there.
Oh, Franco, we're going to do something. Believe me.
We need to collab on something. You need a voice to lend. Honestly, man, this was awesome because this is great because people from all over the world I've already seen this and watch this. Remember, you can watch this on Disney Plus. It's a must-see. It's It's a short. But let me tell you, this is so impactful, what you've done in that 7-8 minutes. It's just amazing. And I know that there's a lot of Pinoys, Filipinos, out there, even in the Philippines, all across the world that are probably saying like, that's me. That looks like me. And you know, people are doing that with Warrior games. They're mimicking the starting lineups. I got kids in the Philippines pretending to introduce Steph Curry like the Filipino Pinoy hype man. That's humbling to me. So you know that there's going to be people in the Philippines doing that with your work and your characters as well, I'm sure. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait. I don't know if it's in the Philippines yet, but when it does, I mean, I can't wait to see people in the Philippines dressed up as Dad and Alex. You know, that would be great.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, talk about
and it won't be that tough. All you have to do is put a T-shirt in. It's not that tough. Put a backpack. You're Alex.
You're Alex right there. No, but I love it because my wife, she was funny in the opening credits. She goes, "That looked like you as a baby right there." That's what got me, you know, and right in the beginning, you know, the hair, you know, it's kind of like the floppy kind of, you know, the hair that we have.
The bowl cut.
The bowl cut. That looked kind of like me. And so I was just like, yeah, you're right. You know, I was like, our kid's going to be looking like that, you know, one day. You know, we don't have kids yet, but it's like, I can see it. But I could already see, I was watching that character and I was just like, the family, I was like, that's Pinoy, man. I was proud.
We stressed. I know this might sound like stereotypical, but I was like, I based them off of me. I have thicker lips.
Yeah.
I have a flatter nose.
Yeah.
I have thick eyebrows. I have almond eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that is everything that the dad will have. And so, and I love it. I want to promote that the skin tone, he's darker skinned. He's got thicker lips, bigger nose.
I can tell. Like the eyes alone. When I looked at the eyes, I said, "That's Filipino right there." The almond eyes, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, got so many influences and everything, but very distinct.
Those were choices that we made. I wanted this guy to feel very Filipino, at least to me. At least I can go, okay, yeah, that looks like a Filipino guy to me.
No, it totally does. And so you want to write some more? You want to create? This is indeed a great platform. You know, now it's available for a lot of folks here who have Disney Plus to watch this. You know, short of yours, but then this could lead to a lot of big things. What other things are you personally connected with? I know, you know, are you involved in any organizations and whatnot and that sort of stuff with autism or anything? As you have a platform here to talk about autism?
I am not like officially attached to anybody really, but like I will go to any event that contacts me as long as I'm free. I want to push. Autism awareness out there, and I have done some talks here and there at certain Zoom conferences and schools, and of course interviews. I've done that as well. But I if you would have asked me 10 years ago, would I be the spokesperson for autism? I would have said no.
Yeah.
And so to see me now, I've come a long way, and I want to show parents that are going through the struggle that I went through that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that it's gonna be okay, and yet it's gonna take a while, but you're gonna be there. So if I could talk about autism, or if I could hype up Filipino Americans, that's why I try to wear Filipino gear as much as I can. I want the younger generation to see, yes, it's possible, and we're doing it. All right. So
indeed.
Yeah.
No, that's great, man. And this is awesome. It's opened up a lot of things, and not only for you, but hopefully for a lot of people to you know, kind of reflect a little bit, especially during these times where, you know, this is a perfect time. Watch Float, because it's going to be, it'll inspire you in that short amount of time, but it does speak a lot of volumes. So it's amazing. And so the one thing, I know we're kind of pressed against time here. We only got a couple minutes, but I was going to maybe pick up on the next recording. We could edit.
Sure, let's do that.
But I wanted to talk about your Spark Shorts program, you know, and you know, that was the, you know, where in which Float was made. Anything you want to share about that, emerging storylines that we could be on the lookout for?
The great thing is it's a continuing program, and it's giving other people that aren't typically thought of as directors a shot at telling stories and and getting their projects done. I can't announce when the next ones are coming, but there's definitely a few are in the works, and up and coming directors as well. And it's an amazing program because, like you said, I get this platform now. I'm here and I get to tell my story to the world, and now I get to talk about what's important to me, which is the Philippine culture and autism. And so I hope the same happens to those directors as well when they get this chance to stand on the a soapbox when they get their chance. So yes, I'm going to use my platform for something that is important and dear to my heart. So.
Okay. Well, this is good. Actually, we still have a little bit more time. I want to squeeze in a couple more questions. We're all good here. But I want to talk about, could there ever be a full feature film? I'm sure you're getting asked that. Like, you got a little tease. That was amazing. Loved Float. But can we get maybe a full one? You know, I mean, there seems like, Pixar does a great job of really bringing in culture and diversity. I mean, you could talk about all the films, in the history of Pixar. And there's always diversity, stories and everything like that are multicultural. So I'm glad it's like, okay, I was waiting for that moment for the Filipino, but can we have one, like a full storyline? Do you think maybe you could write it? You're going to be the guy. What do you think, man?
I would love to. And, but you know what it takes? It's going to take people out there to please contact, contact people that you love that you love Filipino stories, that you want to see more Filipino stories.
Yes.
Please don't just watch it and just be like, that was nice. But please tell people, share it with the world, because the more hype that we get on this, the more stories that'll get out there. Because I think the big wigs and the people that have the money need to see that this is viable, to invest in. And so please, if you love Float, please tell the next person. Please contact Disney. Please just hype it up out there.
Hype it up. Spread the word. We got the social platforms here, right? We're all quarantined. Send it out. And literally, you can watch it with your family at any given moment on your phone, whatever. Get that Disney Plus right now and really just promote it. And Bobby, this is amazing. We're going to start, closing up our interview here. I really appreciate your time. But is there anything that you want to share out there while we're talking about Filipino culture? Have you been to the Philippines first off? Have you been at all?
No, I haven't. But I'd love to go. I want to go. I mean,
when we can travel, we're gonna go, right? We're gonna open up.
Yeah. Once we could do that, I would totally. I want to go back. But I've been to Pistahan.
Oh yeah, you've been to Pistahan, right? And which is great. And that is, it's amazing what we do every year, every August. It's gone bigger. I've been there since the early days when I was a young MC, host doing that stuff, even pre-Warriors. It was amazing. Now it's grown. It's a celebration. Although virtual right now, it's all good. But, I got to say, Bobby, when you go to the Philippines, it is really eye-opening. I went for the first time in I think it was 6 years ago, and I visited my mom's town and met with some relatives, and man, it's humbling just to see the Filipinos there, and I felt that sense of pride, and I was just happy to see a lot of Warrior jerseys now, man. Forget the other jerseys. We used to have all the other teams like Lakers, Kobe. Now we got Steph Curry jerseys.
Nice.
So Dub Nation is in the Philippines full effect. And that made me real happy because that was 6-7 years ago when we were starting to get real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
we're coming back, man.
We are coming back, and so it's a lot of fun, man. And I know we can't get together physically for games and festivals, and the Pistahan Parade, which is always just amazing every single year. But at least we get to go virtual, and we get to talk to folks like you, Bobby, who really just this is just the first step, because I know you got a lot in the bag that you're going to be writing, and we're going to see a lot from you representing, of course, with Pixar and all your projects. So thank you again, Bobby, for joining us in this conversation. Hey, one thing, what is your favorite Filipino food, man? I'm going to ask you some rapid questions. What's your go-to?
The first one that come to mind is lumpia, but
You gotta love lumpia. That's like
yeah.
yeah.
Sisig.
Oh, sisig. Yes, with the egg and the whole nine, huh? I love it.
Yeah, man.
That's,
Yeah.
do you know how to cook any Filipino food by any chance?
Rice, the little finger.
And the finger. That's the old trick, man. Put the finger. All right, that's good. You're good.
Yep, I'm good. I can cook rice.
You cook rice? Well, I've learned how to make fried rice, so that's a take to another level, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that I could cook Spam's fried rice and throw in that little vegetable in the middle, like top off that egg.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude. Hey, start with the basics. Start with the basics. You know what I mean?
I can cook that.
That's awesome. Well, hey, man, I just want to say thank you again. What a great, way to celebrate here with Pistahan. Bobby Rubio, director, writer for Pixar's, of course, Float. It's a must-see on, Disney Plus. Make sure to get it. Spread the word. And as we were talking about, let everyone see this. Make an impact and say, we want more of these stories and more characters that look like us, Filipinos, Filipino Americans. And so congratulations on being the very first, one to actually have Pixar create characters that look like us, man. I mean, we're proud and we're 100% behind you, my man.
Thanks, Franco. Thank you so much. I'm so happy and proud, and it is an honor to be here with you, man. Thank you.
All right, I got to close it out with the Warrior style. Make some noise for Bobby Rubio. Okay, I had to do a little bit of Warrior style.
Oh man, you're gonna have to do that for my phone or something later.
Dude, I got you, man. Let's do it, man. Hopefully we'll collaborate one day down the road.
Yeah.
Thanks again, my man. Take care. Be safe and healthy. Thanks again for joining us here for our Pistahan conversation. I'm your hype man, Franco Finn. Enjoy the rest of the celebration.